Welcome back to Unchained Grace, Grit, and God, episode 2. God speaks, we distract. So I stay focused in these episodes. I have my little notes. I may bring them out. You may see me looking over here. But I want to stay focused on my message, okay? And I want to be very clear on my messages. So this episode, we're going to talk about what are distractions? Why do we distract? My personal distractions, and what does it actually look like to hear from God? Let's jump into it. So the first thing, what are distractions? So distractions are anything that prevents you from listening to God and his desires for you. Those can look like drinking, smoking, social media, gambling, sex. I mean, you name it. If it's preventing you from hearing God speak to you, it's a distraction. Okay. Number 2, why do we distract? I'm sure you know the reason. We distract, I think, for a couple of reasons. One reason being we want to do things our way and we don't want to listen to what God is telling us to do. Because sometimes we think we have all the answers and we know what we want and what we need when we really don't. The second reason why I think we distract is pain. We avoid pain, or we want to avoid pain or feeling some type of negative emotion, whether that's anger, shame, sadness, grief. So that's another reason why we distract. I think those are the 2 main reasons why we have distractions. So the next thing I want to talk about, my personal distractions. So one of my big ones was drinking. I have been sober a little over 2 years now. Praise Jesus. That was a huge one for me. I could tell you some stories. I remember one time, my daughter's birthday. I was so hungover the next morning. I was throwing up. The only time I came downstairs for her birthday party was to sing her happy birthday and help her blow out her candles. I had to forgive myself for that moment. And I was running from myself. I didn't want to feel things. I didn't want to feel that shame. So I drank. So drinking was one of my huge distractions. I have used social media. I have used fitness, actually. Fitness for me was fueled by self-hatred. And so it became obsession and wanting to be perfect. One thing I didn't touch on was achievements being a distraction. So achievements were also a distraction for me. I thought if I could get the job, make the money, get the nice car, look the part, look perfect, right? Achieve, that I would be happy. And little did I know, it just kept fueling more self-hatred. So achievements can be a distraction, and it was one of mine. Let me see, what else? People. The last relationship I was in was definitely a distraction for me. I knew God was calling me to do something different, but I wanted to stay and do things my way. And yeah, so people can be distractions, relationships. And the last thing I want to talk about is, so what does it look like to hear from God, right? You're like, okay, Tara, well, let's say I get rid of these distractions? And actually, let's back up real quick. I want you to notice how you're distracting yourself. What are your distractions? But here's the thing. I want you to notice. I want you to acknowledge. But shame is going to try to creep in, and it's from the devil. And he's going to try to tell you you're not worthy, you're not loved, you're not deserving because you're this bad person that's done all of these bad things, and you're not. So be brutally honest with yourself. How are you distracting yourself? Okay? Bring it to Jesus. Let him help you. He will help you get rid of those distractions. And if you don't bring it to him, you can either learn the hard way or you can listen. And I learned the hard way. God snatched me up out of that relationship and left me sitting in silence and stillness for 2 weeks. When I left that relationship, he took every distraction from me, and I had no choice but to hear him and to cry out to him. 2 days after I left, my phone broke. I didn't have money to get a new one. I got a $29 burner phone. I thank God that he did that because I wasn't able to get on Facebook on my phone. I wasn't able to look back on text messages with me and this person. I wasn't able to look back and look at photos and reminisce and keep me stuck in that relationship. I had no money. Shopping was also another distraction for me. So here I am, no money. I can't go anywhere really because I don't have money. That means I'd have to put gas in my car. And if I go somewhere, I can't buy anything. So when I tell you, you can either start listening and bring it to him, or he will snatch you up from your situation and he will force you to listen to him. You can do the hard way, like me. And then now I want to touch on the last thing. So you might be asking, well, what does it look like to hear from God? So for me, I call them like nudges or downloads. And so they can come in forms of a vision. Like I literally picture something in my head. I'll have a dream, words, numbers, and it won't just happen once. The word will keep repeating itself, or the number will keep repeating itself. And sometimes when he drops things in my spirit, it's so loud, I only need to hear it once. But here's the thing. You've got to be quiet. You've got to put the distractions away. We are in a culture where distraction and distracting yourself is the norm. It's hustle, hustle, hustle. Go, go, go. No, you're going to need to sit still. You're going to need to get uncomfortable. And you're going to have to listen. You're going to have to be quiet. You're going to have to sit still in his presence. And it may feel a little weird at first, but once you do it and it becomes a habit, you will sit in his presence and sit with him more and more and more. And he will literally, he won't give you the whole plan, by the way. He will drop, again, these little nudges, these little downloads. He'll give you the next step. You're not going to fully know sometimes where you're going, but you've got to trust it. But you're going to miss it if you distract yourself. So, we talked about ways we distract ourselves, why we distract ourselves. what you're going to do to let go of those distractions. Again, notice, sit with it, let it go, bring it to Jesus. And we talked a little bit about, well, what does it sound like, or what does it look like to hear from God? And so I want to leave you with this. It is so important to put the distractions away, sit in silence, listen to what God wants for your life. That is when those chains start breaking off. When you start to become in alignment with God's desires, your whole life is going to change. And I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. Because there are times where I'm like, I'm doing things I don't want to do, but I know God is telling me I need to do them. Because I'm scared. I don't feel qualified. I don't feel like I'm ready. But once you start aligning with him, those doors are going to fly open and your life is going to change. Just trust me. All right. I will see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.